Oh, didn't see you there, viewers. I suppose you'll be wanting to drown out then. What a day I've had. I had to have my head cut off and put on a much smaller body.
This is waking up every day with depression.
Everybody limbo! Da, 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 da. I'm going this way, I don't give a shit.
We get to play a good game.
Well,
Take that, egg.
a very quiet good game.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the charm.
Boing, boing. Yes, my
Was
word.
this the progenitor of the big head, little body, childlike thing, or was
I
it?
wouldn't say so.
No. Well, I mean, in games. I mean, it's not an uncommon trope, just sort of existing throughout human
Yeah,
fiction.
but I don't think this was the first game that did it.
Oh, so no,
I
that's what I'm
think,
trying to think.
I would say Braid was the progenitor.
Also, Braid did come before this one.
The standard indie game archetype of small child, big head, exploring scary world with deep storytelling, maybe.
I gotta see now they're all blurring together. Which one was Braid?
That's the time travel one.
Was that meant to be a kid? I thought that was a dude.
Well, he had a big head.
Yeah, but I think that was an adult. Like, that. This is a kid. Like, kids are supposed to have small bodies and big heads. There was a kid in my high school who, for the whole of like year 8 and 9, everyone called him Little Big Head because just the growth spurt just hit his skull first. It was fucking amazing.
So anyway, the word we picked last week was, you'll recall, indistinct. And I thought, what better than a silhouette game?
With some lovely sort of indistinct backgrounds that I think
and
give a good sense of character and space to the
a very indistinct death that I just had. And a very indistinct plot.
Which I think is quite good. I think, you know, this is one of those ones we point out of building character and world with no dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, I think the small child and big scary world thing is overrated a bit. Seems to get automatic indie acclaim, but this isn't a bad game because of it. It's just a good game despite of it, I'd say.
Well, I mean, it's that problem again of everyone doing something doesn't make the good versions of it bad, and it's really easy to lose sight of that when people are rubbing like repetitive crap in your face. That sometimes these things, you know, like the early modern, you know, I mean, the first Modern Warfare game was good.
Faster. Faster.
Does that actually do anything?
You fucking boat. I don't know. I just assume it might because
This reminds me of a dream I've had.
Were you sailing with an owl and a pussycat and a beautiful pea green boat?
No.
Did you dine on mints and slices of quince?
No. I was not that nursery rhyme.
Okay. I remember this. You have to use the boat to jump up. This is mostly pulling stuff into a place so that you can jump onto a place.
Well, it's the old step platformer they're called, aren't they?
I wouldn't say it was a step platformer. Flashback is a step platformer.
Well, yeah, but this...
Prince of Persia is a step platformer.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, the steps became analog, but I still think, like... You know what I mean? I think the game is still within that.
I'm not sure I agree.
Alright, well, how would you define it, then?
I'd just call it a platformer.
Well, do you not think that they have a very close kinship to step platformers, with the pulling up and the pushing, the pulling, the objects, the way...
But every platform has that these days. Oh, I'm dead.
You fucking buttnut.
That happens. Sorry, the screen's a bit small on the TV because I had to run it windowed.
Excuses.
Oh yes, I remember this as well. Do you know there's an achievement for getting through this whole game with only 5 deaths? Ha 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 ha.
Is there an achievement for getting through not dying at all?
Possibly.
It'd be funny if there wasn't. Exactly 5 deaths. Or everything you accomplish is meaningless.
Less than 5 deaths. Then.
It is a good game, though. I like this. I always, like... This is one of those ones where...
this was the XBLA, as I recall.
Yeah.
First release.
Wasn't this when Ebert first wanted someone to show him a game that was art? This was the first thing I thought of, because I think it's
Really?
Well, I think it's simple, but it builds in difficulty. So I think anyone can pick this up and figure it out, even if you're old. And I think it has...
Well, rather a patronising comment there, Gabriel.
Oh, you know what I mean, like Ebert old. Like, I don't understand these games and your rap music, like that kind of old. I'm not saying old as in like just pure numbers.
Right. Oh, there's a rock.
There's a thing.
Aha.
Na 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 na.
Foiled you. That's probably the wrong mindset.
Yahtzee belongs in a museum.
Well, Roger Ebert does.
Yeah.
Establish that.
His own.
Especially now.
I think it'd be cool to have my ashes displayed in a museum.
Well, they're not going to be that enticing to look at, are they?
No, but, you know, I mean, if you do something relevant enough, and it's
Boing.
like, here,
Boing.
Can it really? It's not. You're not really lying there if it's ashes. Like, what is it? Here sits Gabe. How would you describe that if you're like ashes? Rests.
Here is an arrangement of Gabriel.
I really like that. An arrangement of Gabriel.
Yes, a rather haphazard one, it must be said.
A pile of Gabe.
Here is a quantity of Gabe.
Saying that next time I have sex.
It might be.
That's
might be the whole quantity, it might not be. You just don't know. Whee! See, this isn't a dark game, we're having fun.
Whimsy. Childlike wonder.
Wonder if you can go all the way around.
That, always the question. Did you ever try that as a kid? Like, going all the way around?
No. It's possible, though. I've seen a video.
Huh.
But you have to be, like, standing on it and using all your weight.
Was it a fixed...
Papa.
Was it a fixed connection swing, or was it a chain swing?
I can't remember.
Because I don't think it's possible on a chain swing. I think a fixed connection, you have the leverage to swing yourself, but I think a chain swing, you just can't.
Okay, then.
Unless you have some kind of rockets.
But anyway, the whole big-headed child in a scary world thing I think is really popular in indie games because it speaks to a sort of the mindset of the person who doesn't want to grow up. It's the man boy's favourite game.
See, I wouldn't say that. I'd say the reason it's popular is because a few got great acclaim, and then people just, it becomes the format of, like how Oscar movie is itself a genre. Like, it just became the format of arty for, early gaming.
Possibly. Well, I still think
because again, I don't think Braid's a man-childy thing really at all.
Well,
I
it
don't think
kind
it's a
of
child.
is if you go through it, because the plot of the game is he's rescuing a princess. The whole point of the game is that's
isn't that sort of like
is that he kind of by the end he's kind of exposed as someone who's placed an idealistic goal on something that's more complex.
Well, that's what I mean. I think there's a subversion of that. Like,
yeah,
but, I don't know. I wouldn't call it the man-child attraction so much as once something gets established as arty, that's where everyone just gravitates toward if they want to be arty.
Oh, hey, this is where the fun starts.
I'm Princess Spider.
You ain't no princess.
I'm a metaphor for spiders. Shut up! Alrighty, so what are you going to do about that?
I think what you have to do is you have to trick it into smashing the ground.
I think you're going to die if you get too close to this thing.
Hello. I think that did it.
Yeah, the twang.
Oh, no. One more. It's supposed to jar that man trap off that branch.
Man trap.
So did I say man trap? Perhaps I meant spider trap.
Dun dun dun.
I think this game kind of loses something after the whole spider sequence, because I think that's the highlight of the game for me.
It is rather good. But I mean, see, this is what I mean about being...
Come and get me.
Like, someone not familiar with the problem-solving tropes of video games...
Come and get me again.
I think could play this game. I think it's got a really good sort of difficulty curve. I think it illustrates new sort of puzzle mechanics. Hold on to it, move forward, and then move back as it raises up.
Yeah. Ha ha ha! You dumb spider! I'm your king now.
Yeah, you stupid jerk.
Are you just gonna stay there? Do you want some more?
Hey, I know. Do exactly what you did before. I'm sure that won't end poorly.
Yeah, you want some more? Come and get me. I'm really juicy.
And it's got no HUD. Like, there's no sort of lists.
That was close.
Yeah. There's no like big lists of complex controls. I think it has a really good example of how you build complexity out of just well-organized simplicity.
Well, I had to get my master race on to get it running in windowed.
Master race. How'd you do that then? Explain it to the rest of the master race.
Had to edit the config. How about that?
Slow down, Neo. Okay, we aren't all hacksaws. I need you to explain that for the regular people.
Well, I had to find the file that was the config, and then I had to edit it. But
the world of the digital age has left me behind.
But I do think the whole small child and scary world does speak to rather clear themes of a coming of age, and it's frequently a theme that appears in such games. No, this is the bad time, bad touch, bad touch.
Not friend. Don't want.
Keep a lookout for insects as a recurring theme in this game, by the way.
They are creepy.
That's me getting my game critic on.
Oh, come on, you can do better than that.
Well, it seems...
Look out for insects.
Well,
they're a theme of the game.
It's a recurring theme as part of the whole...
I mean, what do you think that theme relates to?
It's an evocation of the whole idea of being a small thing in a huge world that you can't understand.
Yeah, no. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Even the insects are bigger than you, and they constantly victimize you. It's a dog-eat-dog world.
People only say that when they're eating you. No one says that when it's just perfectly harmless.
This is cute, though. No, please don't eat me, Mistress Spider. Help, help, help. I'm hopping away.
Sperm crawling up the birth canal.
Hopping away with all my speed.
Boing. This reminds me of that...
Bollocks.
Oh, for God's sake.
I didn't think I'd hop that far.
This reminds me of the time I duct taped the neighbor kid up. He let us do it. We found these, 4 big rolls of duct tape my dad had bought, and we're like, hey, let's misuse this. So... I was like, we should make a mummy, and Stephen just went, all right, and then sat down, and he just let us wrap him up. And the last thing he said was, don't cover my eyes. So the last thing we did was covered his eyes. And then we just let him hop around the front yard for a bit before we pointed in the direction of his house. It was great.
You are a horrible friend.
He was a neighbor. Neighbor kids really aren't your friends, they're just there.
You get too much pleasure out of Schadenfreude.
Dude, shut up! It's mummifying another human being and watching them hop around. That's funny.
Yeah, Oh, well, you convinced me now. Since you said it's funny, I've suddenly realized where the humor lies. Oh, dear.
You butt nut. You laugh at other people's fucking expense.
Well, only when they're being really dumb.
You don't think letting me wrap you up in duct tape is really dumb?
Well, he clearly said, don't put it over your eyes, so you were just being malicious at that point.
Yeah, that was a foolish thing to trust me on that one.
Well, now you're just blaming the victim. That's like saying she shouldn't have dressed like that if she didn't want it.
Well, the funny...
Saying you shouldn't have trusted me because I'm obviously a repellent human being.
Rape analogies.
Yeah, I had a feeling that would be death.
Yes, everything's like rape, Yahtzee, you're right. That doesn't diminish the horror of that at all.
Should have seen the comments last week.
Why? I don't look at the comments.
Well, there were some
the same every week. That's all the comments are always the same. Hey, here's a fun game, people. Don't comment this week. Just don't. I'm curious. I want to see how many of you can resist.
To this man. I need to populate the Q&A list.
How many of you can resist just commenting? Don't comment first because it's dumb and been done and it's not interesting. Don't comment at all. Just don't comment. I want to see if you can just do that. Don't comment. If you've commented already, delete your comment. Let's see if we can make this a comment-free YouTube thing without having to block comments.
Maybe people want to feel like they're part of something larger than themselves.
You don't need to. You're good enough.
Okay.
Well, you should. You're fine. You're fine as you. You don't need to be part of something bigger. Who says?
Well... a person who joined the army probably wouldn't agree with you there. Hey, what are you? Ah, you're a corpse. Well, that explains that. Well, speaking of YouTube comments, one of our news stories that came out this week was that I died. YouTube superstar PewDiePie has rather publicly turned off comments on his videos. Oh, bollocks.
Hey, Yahtzee, I've got this great idea to solve this puzzle. Do exactly the same thing.
I wasn't doing exactly the same thing. It's just like, I wasn't sure how...
Turned off comments, yes, because nothing of value occurs in PewDiePie's comment threads.
Well, I do actually do a once-over on the comments on our videos, just because I'm looking for questions to populate the Q&A file.
Because you don't check your Twitter?
Well, I do check my Twitter as well.
You just don't respond. You don't validate people.
Well, no, because...
full of hate.
That sort of makes you part of something that I'm not sure I want to be part of. This is probably gonna...
Yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen here.
Oh, yeah, thought as much. Whew, that was a close one.
Skinnier pants there.
But I can sort of understand someone like PewDiePie, turning off the comments, because the number of viewers it just turns into so much white noise after a while.
That's what I find perplexing is... you'll see it on every now and then.
I'm not sure what I was...
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen that coming either. I'm just being a jerk.
That's the trouble with this game. It's just kind of trolly.
Stuff happens, yeah.
It's like I Want to Be the Guy, but directed by the guy who did The Seventh Seal.
No, to be fair, nothing's as bad as I Want to Be the Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure after that game came out, there was a bunch of people who wanted to make, their own version of it.
There were a bunch of people who wanted to be the guy, certainly.
I did play that. It was an exercise in cruelty.
Yes.
Fun,
Swish.
though. Oh, pointies. Don't want to land on pointies.
So hard to run on modern PCs, though. I don't know what the fuck kind of engine they were using for it. I think I remember hearing somewhere it was multimedia fusion.
Goes too fast or goes too slow?
Hey, I'm smelling a rat here. So what I like about Limbo is its use of physics. I mean, you can, just by the way it wobbles, you can tell it's not organic. But the actual spider's legs moved in a very organic fashion.
I think you can actually just walk past that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if this is going to kill me. If I do.
If you don't remember, it doesn't matter, and it probably will kill you, and it doesn't matter.
Hello.
Hey, you dick.
Hey, look, I can be a spider too. Should have had the other spiders show up and little black love hearts appeared over its head.
The sad thing is, like, the spider's demise I actually find quite melancholy, I feel sort of bad for it.
Don't spoil it! Damn you. You spoil that the spider dies, and I think that's one of the most interesting parts of the game. Why'd you have to do that? Why do I keep you around?
This isn't Let's Deconstruct yet.
Don't just because I asked you to download Silent Hill 2 for me doesn't mean I'm actually going to do that now. I just want to play around with the concept. But yes, let's move off that. Do you ever watch Mr. PewDiePie?
No.
Me neither.
I think YouTube views should only count once you're over 18.
I think he tends to get well, he gets a lot of traffic, but he also gets a lot of detractors because he's very lowest common denominator. But then so's Mr. Bean.
Someone showed me something.
Everyone likes to see a nice, straightforward kind of humor, don't they?
I'd still say there's an art to simple. Like,
I suppose.
Whoa!
Oh, I fell for it.
That was tricky. You little shadow dudes are tricky.
No one could ever have got past
There's
that
no
on their
duck
same
in this,
try.
is there?
Tell me you got past that on your first try, and I will not believe you.
On someone's first playthrough of the game, sight unseen, no, you are not getting through this without dying, unless you have like some sort of, ability to perceive the future, like in the Golden Man or something.
Okay, don't go that way, because the man trap's there now.
Was it the Golden Man? Which was? Yeah, I think it was the Golden Man.
What's the Golden Man?
One of the sci-fi authors of lore, I think Heinlein. It was basically about a future era where there were mutants everywhere, and one of them, there was a government agency that went around and eradicated them, but there was one who was this tall, beautiful golden man.
Piss!
And he didn't remember the past.
I wasn't referring to the Golden Man there, I was just saying there's a big spider coming to eat me.
Could perceive the future and would just, move flawlessly toward, like, beneficial futures toward him, but it was kind of like an animal. It's an interesting story.
Here's a crafty little puzzle. Like, you can't actually continue until the spider is close enough. So it creates a sort of gate, but in a way that's quite effective for atmosphere building as well.
So
rather elegant design, really.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative of design elements of games that tie the pacing to the mechanics of the game.
Yes. It's like Mario Kart. Sorry, I can't really... I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry.
I'm just like, okay. Because I gave you the benefit of the doubt and had a thought to myself like... Oh, poor spider.
That's what we call rocking a hard place.
I gave you the benefit of the doubt with that sort of simile and was like, he has to have something here. He can't just be saying words. Nope.
This log is going to move, isn't it? Okay.
Nope. So that was a trick log. You gotta be careful of those.
Bloody trick logs.
Trick logs.
It's just like the ones I find on my toilet seat.
Seat?
It's not even a trick, I keep telling them.
You just shit on the toilet.
Yes.
Just get you a little bullseye in the bowl. That's what we need, yeah. It's just so you're not just pinching a loaf on the rim.
So, yes, I suppose I can... Ha-ha! Now the shoe is on the other foot.
Take this, you sad one-legged ball.
So this is a part of the game I quite like because it's a reversal. It's sort of you were once the prey of the spider, but now you are the spider's tormentor. Not only are we going to pull its last remaining leg off, we're going to walk all over its still alive body.
Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it.
Hey kid, I'll give you a box of Smarties if you stop that.
I'll give you $5 if you don't do what you're thinking of doing.
Okay, fine, I'll join your adventure. I'll be your little sidekick. It'll be fun.
I can make webbing.
What are you doing? Ah! Oh! I'm still alive!
Finish me!
Jump up and down on me or something, for fuck's sake. Sorry.
I find that kind of melancholy. That's kind of sad to me.
Like I said, dog-eat-dog world. I think that's a rather lovely illustration of the harshness of this world.
It is, yeah. I think
Dialogue-free storytelling and incorporating gameplay. It's all so lovely.
Do you think this is something that I think indie gaming maybe has the propensity for a little better because there's just like this is a game designed by a guy. Do you think it's the kind of thing that a committee, sort of a big development team can't do as well?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, it depends what sort of committee it is.
I'm asking you if you in your knowledge can think of a game that was designed by a committee that would disprove prove or disprove my query.
Well, to be honest, I can't think of many games that are like Limbo. I mean, in terms of atmosphere.
Well, beyond the sort of more derivative ones.
I mean, maybe something like Amnesia: The Dark Descent might create a similar sort of vibe, but from different directions. Or Silent Hill 2. I'm trying to remember now. I think I need that box again.
Looks like it. You can't float across that on maggots.
Nope. So anyway, some people argue against deactivating YouTube comments because of free speech. What would you say to that?
Well, I mean, look, it's not a free speech thing because that's PewDiePie's channel. He's, it's like saying that you have a right to be in my house. You actually don't.
Well, and that would only be a valid analogy if you routinely showed films at your house and invited literally everyone to come in and look at them with you.
Yeah, but there's structures within YouTube. So you can.
Standing on this corpse. And there's a guy with a worm in his head.
But no, again, comments on YouTube videos are optional. You can talk about YouTube videos without being on the YouTube video. And stuff like that. Like, you can, if you want to have a big thing, you can create a whole website called Talking About PewDiePie, and that's your free speech. You can do it. It's
Well, it's sort of being closed to criticism, though, isn't it?
Well, I mean, again, you can start you could literally a blog. I'll do it tomorrow for you, so I can give you the password. Someone else can write it.
Wait a second.
Talking About Pewdie, and then you can just have big critiques of his videos.
I just turned some wheels in my head. I think,
You have head wheels?
Obvious trap. Corpses back there. Obvious
corpses
trap.
Corpses are great for getting rid of traps.
Obvious trap. Lisa needs corpses. Obvious trap. Lisa needs corpses.
That is my favorite thing you've done. I like that.
Just call me Comedy Yahtzee.
Well, that was also from the marvelous Last Exit to Springfield, which is probably my second favorite episode of The Simpsons of all time.
What a nerd you are. Stop nerding up the place, you nerd.
Yeah, I really shouldn't be such a nerd in front of the video game critic.
Of course, the other matter that evoked, freedom to criticize in my mind was the story recently that's coming off recent controversies. Over 1,800 professionals in the games industry have come out to condemn hate speech. They're also talking about how they embrace diversity in games and how there's room for everyone, and suggested that everyone report when someone uses hateful language.
I was wondering, because I remember that fucking trap, because I remember getting caught by it the first time.
I assumed the button was the middle part.
Yeah, so did I. And I remember just that stuck in my brain really hard, like after the first instance. I was like, if
memory serves, they do the opposite with this one.
Yes.
But yes.
The counter trap.
So there was this announcement, like a signed petition thing, saying that all these people condemned hate speech. And I remember thinking when it first came out, who is this message for?
Yeah.
Because no one who uses hate speech does not realise that it is a bad thing.
They do it to get this response.
That's why they use it. They know it. They know it annoys people.
It's to hurt. Yeah, and this is what I mean about responding to tiny, weak people who 99% of these are just squawking on comment threads or on Twitter or something.
Even to condemn or report something is to legitimize something.
Just ignore them. That's the Chinese censorship machine does this thing, which I was staggeringly in awe of because it is one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. Where rather than directly censor something, right? If the China has their own versions of social media and whatnot, so rather than prevent you from uploading something, it'll make you think it's uploaded, So, like, if you've got Chinese Twitter and you put a thing up, it'll make you think that it's uploaded, but it'll be invisible to other people. So, people won't...
They phantom ban people. That
Yeah.
used to be a thing on forums I posted
And the
on.
thing is, people will think that they've posted and just that no one's replied, and it's this soft social condemnation that hurts them and changes their mind. And I think that's...
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Well, of course, the Chinese obviously gotten very good at censorship after all these
I know,
years.
like, I don't like what it's used for, but I do have to appreciate the skill that went into that. And again, like, that's... reacting is what these kids want. It's the child throwing a tantrum. This condemnation, they thrive on it. They want it. They want you to be upset and to wave your finger at them, because you can't, what are you gonna... You can't get, fucking actually catch them and spank them or do anything really about it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, they can't actually hurt you. You just don't give a shit about the children and, sub-morons on the internet squawking and bleating. You can just ignore them. That's a power in your brain.
So, because on the face of it, don't make hate speech is a noble enough thing to say that no one will condemn, but that's the point. No one will condemn it, so why'd you bother saying it?
Well,
that's a completely obvious thing. Everyone knows.
This is something I bring up to people about, wanting to block offensive speech, and it's like it's easy when it's something that you don't think's offensive. So take it may be easy to say we shouldn't have like speech that is anti-gay, and I'd say I
think
pro-gay as I am, I'm not going to tell someone they can't say that marriage should only be between a man and a woman. I'm not going to block someone from saying that. I'll disagree with them, but the counterpoint I bring up to people who say that shouldn't be is, well, if you criticize Israel,
puzzle solving.
Yeah, if there are a lot of people who will criticize Israel for what they do, and if you have a problem with offending people, that kind of rule can be brought to bear against you for doing something like criticizing Israel.
I think the recent controversies around the industry can be summed up in various ways. Social justice versus anti-social justice, feminism versus gamers, that sort of thing. But I think it's could be more accurately described in the most
brain noodles.
Ow. Yes. In the most the reasonable halves of the debate, that it's more of a debate of free speech versus censorship, and it's sort of hard to defend when people say like really the emotion fueled statements like, oh, do you support people just saying whatever they like and giving death threats and giving hate speech? So, having thought about it, I guess I'd have to say, against censorship, yes, I do support hate speech, because if someone uses hate speech, at least then we know where they are.
Yeah.
We know that they harbour these thoughts, and we can possibly, if not persuade them, at least act in accordance with them.
Well, I mean, I've had conversations with incredibly racist people. Like, I've been called a gook butt kisser. I got called that by a 35-year-old man when I was 15. Like, that was a friend of a friend's dad got in my face and called me a gook butt kisser.
Oh, dear.
Coon lover, that's one. Oh, God, what else? Just every other thing under the sun, because I'd argue with these people. And it took me ages and ages and ages to stop fighting them and to just let them fucking talk. Because if you let them talk, you find the little kernel of the problem. And most of the time, it's like a fear-based thing. Like people who have a problem with, the fucking...
Birdies, food for you.
Aren't they going to eat your little brain maggot?
They will if I get close enough to them.
Well,
the brain maggot doesn't like the sunlight, you'll see.
Well, yeah, I mean...
So I have to use this box.
Yeah.
Yes,
you'll find the fear, and that's...
I mean, I even say get hate speech because even the most, emotional and seemingly unreasonable hate speech has something behind it. It has some thoughts behind it, and perhaps it can help you find the key to get to the bottom of those thoughts and realize what the bigger issue is.
You can't cure what you haven't correctly diagnosed, and that's the biggest thing about this, is you need to know why they hate.
If you think these thoughts are dangerous, then you should be grateful that that you know where the danger is my point.
And again, most of these aren't threats.
And you can't get rid of the thoughts by forbidding the utterance of the thoughts. Oh, little thing wants a present.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the whole, what's her name? Sarkeesian having to actually leave her house and something.
Yes.
That was... Anyway, here's the perfect thing. She was receiving bullshit from, like, the day she announced a Kickstarter.
Well, yes.
And she's only just now had to react to something that has proven itself to be a legitimate threat. What this proves is all the nattering and bullshit and tiny little weak people who thought that she was going to hurt their hobby weren't threats. They were not fucking threats. Threats have the actual ability to be fulfilled. And I know this from fucking years of standing on a door and having people like threaten me to my face, that most people just threaten to feel big, and you validate them when you treat their sad, pathetic bullshit like it's real.
Well, it's easy to be afraid of someone shouting. I'm afraid they might hit me.
Most people, like even people who are threatening to hit you, most do that to avoid conflict. They want you to back down. That was always the thing I used to just do on the door, was just stare them directly in the eye and go, "Off you go then." And they just go, and they'll stammer because they don't want it to get to that.
Okay, I think I figured this out.
What's your little gremlin gonna do? Ah, he's gonna spin your wheel. I forgot that little puzzle.
Thanks, Mr. Gremlin. I thought there was something you were supposed to do with this thing.
Can you go up or down, or...?
No. But it's doing something.
Oh, something's occurring. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, these... Again, it's that small, weak person.
Yeah,
They want to be noticed, they want attention.
Yes. Don't reiterate points you already made.
Well, no, I'm just trying to hammer the fucking point home. These aren't threats, these aren't threats, these aren't threats.
Well, that's the problem. You don't need to... You don't always need to hammer the point home.
I do.
We did that enough. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be water here now because of we're turning that wheel.
You must have to pull that lever.
I'm thinking. Yes, that is the case. Anyway, to my mind, 1,800, even that many professionals putting their signature on the thing condemning hate speech, that carries about as much weight as an image on Facebook saying, "I hate racism," like if you agree.
A picture of water to a thirsty person.
Yeah. Nobody likes racism. Even the racists will never admit they're racist.
Yeah, like the Klan did a thing a little while ago.
We're
not a black hate group, we're a white pride group.
Yeah.
But again, like the racism...
There we go.
Racism has a cause. Like
we've set off the machine for pigs.
And the causes aren't always the same. Sometimes it's because someone's had a bad experience and they've then applied a negative attitude to an individual, to an entire racial group.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to condemn all insects and miniature people just of this game? Oh, hey.
I hate beetle dwarves. They're terrifying.
Fucking beetle dwarves. Big bad beetle dwarves.
I think we just found the name of our avant-garde metal band.
Big bad beetle dwarves.
Yeah, even though we're not dwarves or beetles.
Yes, we'll cover Beatles songs, but in a dwarfy way.
What are some dwarf Beatles songs?
I wanna.
Now you're dead.
I wanna hold your head.
I wanna hold your big head.
I just made that up right now.
That sounds mean.
Let me think. Please, crouch.
Number 9 inches.
Oh, wait a second. I know what to do.
Yeah, you fucked it up already.
I know what to do.
Oh, it lowers. Okay.
Oh, come on. Beatles things.
I can't even think of Beatles songs at the moment. Sgt. Pepper's Shorty Hearts Club Band.
Nice.
I think this is a productive direction of conversation. Remember, people, no YouTube comments.
Happiness is a warm dwarf.
These are jarringly not good, but that makes them funny to me. Like, you've just swapped gun with dwarf. It's completely ridiculous, but that made me fucking chuckle. Happiness is a warm dwarf.
I was having a conversation with a friend this morning over breakfast, and
Eleanor Dinklage.
We came up with a funny... Nice. Actually, it's related to that. We came up with a funny riff that we were on for a while. Like, we were talking about the seasons, and she at some point said the phrase, "Summer is coming." And I was like, what's that, like, reverse universe Game of Thrones? And we're picturing all the Starks standing on a beach, going, "Summer is coming. Last time we used so many pina coladas, we couldn't leave our chairs. We had to eat 2 servants because we ran out of barbecue sausages." And then we pictured them all on the beach.
Gonna jump into the goo while we
throwing frisbees for the dire wolves.
Thongs. All wearing thongs.
Tyrion Lannister doing the buried to the neck in the sand joke.
Didn't take long. Yeah. You know what, Yahtzee? We should have a 2-person... we'll both sign it, and that'll make it more important. A 2-person thing condemning bad things. And that'll make me and you feel really good about ourselves because we'll have actually done something about it.
I condemn entropy. Where does the universe get off?
Yeah. I don't like heat death of the universe culture.
How dare it? I think the universe should check its universe privilege.
I'm so glad we have, like, the authority and the social capital over these people to control them so directly and simply.
Everyone condemns Shiva, the creator and destroyer. Why does she have to destroy? Why can't she just create?
I know, it's not like the universe isn't big enough.
Yeah.
Space for everybody.
Everyone petition Shiva.
I condemn sunburn. I don't know if there's anything we can really do about that.
We could block out the sun with a big shutter.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Mr. Burns was right.
Yes. Well, about so many things.
Yeah. Including his use of hired goons.
Hired goons?
Simple, but it's fun for me.
Let's see who gets that. Well, those topics didn't last. Anything else?
I don't know. I mean, like, I think there's more dust on PewDiePie turning off comments.
Well,
would you ever consider turning off the comments for these?
Nah, I need the questions.
Do we really?
Yes. Because otherwise we'd just talk about rubbish. And,
some seem to like that. It's interesting, like, every now and then...
Makes such a huge sodding difference, doesn't it?
Like, it's interesting seeing the split. Like, some people like the waffling, some people fucking hate it. Some people get pissy we don't play the game properly, even though I think we explicitly said at the start that this wasn't about that.
Sometimes it annoys me when the people aren't asking interesting questions and just arguing over whether murder really is worse than rape.
What about rape and murder? I suppose those guys are just like the supervillains.
No, I think, personally, I think you should pose that question to a rape victim. Say, would you like to be dead now? Because I'm thinking virtually 100% of them would say, no thank you.
Yeah, you can always make a comeback.
That sounds like it could be twisted in horrible ways.
Only by twisted and horrible people.
Well, it just made me think of Jimmy Carr's comeback, where someone heckles him and he says, if you want my comeback, sir, you'll have to scrape it off your mum's teeth.
That's an old one. Good one, but an old one. Ooh.
Oh, I think I fucked it up. I think I was supposed to... like,
catch the bounce?
Catch it when it came up. Oh, well, I'm about...
Try and push it close. Try and push it close.
I'm gonna die now, probably. Can't swim? What's that big head for, then?
And I was gonna say, that colossal thing should be kind of buoyant.
Maybe his hairdo is made of lead.
There was a Spider-Man villain who...
No, maybe that's not even his hair. I mean, it looks like he's got a little pompadour. Maybe that's just something that's lodged in his skull.
Maybe that's something you get when you arrive in this location, you know, some sort of aspect of your new identity.
It's that bleak a game. When you arrive in Limbo, the first circle of hell... Well, I guess more of a pre-circle, really.
Has there been much, have the creators made any certain comment on where we are or what this is?
You're in Limbo. That's what the title says.
Oh, so it really is that. That's not just like a sort of a...
Well, presumably.
I figured it was meant to be open to much broader forms of interpretation.
I wouldn't have thought they'd put that much thought into it, frankly.
See, I love that. I love when the creators really just don't think about it, and then the vast conspiracies and explanations and stuff are just fan constructions.
Yeah, I think Hideo Kojima could learn that lesson.
No.
Saying, hey, what's your interpretation? I don't care!
Yeah, I don't care. Here's 3 hours.
Yes, here's a 45-minute cutscene in which we explain
how you're supposed to get this.
In other news, Hideo Kojima still hasn't written the Breaking Bad.
Still, shit. Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's good. I mean, hate speech will be gone next week. What are we going to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, what am I going to say?
What are all these hateful people going to do now? Like,
well, maybe they'll go and become football hooligans or something, and stay out of our industry.
Oh, then who will we get to condemn that?
Well, you know, football hooligans, there's sort of expected of them at this point.
Well, because gaming professionals won't carry much cultural weight with the football hooligans, so we'll have to get other football hooligans, some gentleman hooligans.
Gentlemen hooligans, you say?
Yes. Gentlegans.
I think they kind of all are.
I guess that's unfair. There are some. There. Most of them are harmless.
Oh,
I think it's one of those things where we always rag on the dude bros and shit like that. But what basis do we really have for that?
'Cause they're dicks.
I've met plenty of nice bogans.
Oh, I drowned. Well,
Again, that's a cultural thing.
Nice can just be a prelude to glassing you. That's why I never leave the house.
Never had. I had someone threaten to glass me while they were holding a glass. Never had anyone actually take a swing at me with a glass.
Well, I did leave the house during the week actually because I went to the cinema for the first time in ages. Because I went to an expensive restaurant that was near the cinema. And
I love how you keep bringing up that it was expensive. Which restaurant?
Well, it's because it was expensive. They gave us complimentary cinema tickets. I guess it was part of the deal, Like part of like a cross-promotion thing. What do we do here? I've forgotten.
Okay. Maybe go back over without touching anything. Let
me just see if I can quickly... No, that doesn't work.
Well, I mean, it does... That wouldn't help anyway because the box is lowering. Okay, go back down. There's probably something back down.
Well, like this way?
Yeah, so that fills up, right? So if we go back down, you'll probably be able to pull that first switch, and that will do something.
Okay.
Watch. Ah, yeah, see, it blocks the...
Oh, yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, so now you can,
So now we can pull that lever again.
Yeah. Ah, you're watching two brains work as one.
Physics. Really good sound design this game's got as well. I think,
Okay, now wait, go...
I'm stuck.
Go back down and flip that first switch again. No, yeah.
Okay.
Because now it's going to have a little bit of water left in it. And the box will raise up higher.
Okay, again.
I think.
Well, it's doing something.
Alright, so now the waters are at even heights.
Yes.
Something. We're experimenting. This is necessary.
Are the cogwheels turning?
Yeah, so okay, now drop it again. Alright.
Okay.
Okay, the cogwheels are turning, but I think they're grinding.
Let me go back to that other lever.
Yeah,
again.
like...
See what happens.
It's annoying. There's a part of my brain that knows the answer to this.
It's going to be so obvious when I watch this video back.
I know. I know. There's a bit of my brain going, it's this, and I don't know, it's speaking in a language I don't understand. We need to get more water into the right one. And that bit's closed.
Yeah.
So now we raise this bit. Alright.
I'm out.
Remember, people, no YouTube comments. We know you could have solved it really quickly.
I'm fine.
You're really good.
I'm fine with YouTube comments.
Don't. I want to see if they can just not. I'm curious. Can you not? Just out of curiosity, can you not? Okay. So close that again, because I think...
Okay.
Yeah, because the idea is if...
The amount of water isn't going to change, is it?
Well, no, but now it has less space to escape into.
Yes.
So if you drop the thing down, the relative level should get higher.
Yes.
Right.
So... Okay, yeah, this is probably it now. There we go.
Yeah!
You do not get to be triumphant about that. Neither of us do.
Brain on through to the other side.
That took way too long. We are chimps.
I honestly think we even had it solved once and then unsolved it.
We are chimps wearing socks. That is what we are.
And I think we made that much harder than it had to be.
Maggot in the brain, more insect imagery, and I'm dead.
Good work, Croshaw.
Thanks, Morton.
My last name isn't... I think you gotta pull the box back first before you get the thing in.
I'm not sure I can without being...
I think you can. Because you're not gonna make that jump.
Apparently not.
So, if all other possibilities have been eliminated...
But yes, I went to the cinema during the week, and finally we saw Guardians of the Galaxy. Saw it like 3 in the afternoon. There was no one else in the cinema but me.
Marvelous.
But me and the person I went with.
Alright, look, you've made fun of me for pronouncing certain things certain ways sometimes. You're pronouncing it cinema.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
Cinema.
Cinema. That's how I've always said it.
Cinema.
You gonna tell me I'm wrong?
No, I'm just teasing you, because you've given me shit about not even the Sega thing, but just other shit. What was it? Who cares? So yeah, you saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
One of many things. Yes, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy at last.
Jump. There we go.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm supposed to do it this way. Like, scare the maggot waves. Because I hadn't seen it at this point. I don't really watch films as a rule. It's just because we had the free tickets, and everyone seems to be going on about this one. I never really, even with the Marvel films everyone else seems to like, I just find them rather wanting. But I think every Marvel film...
What movies do you even like?
I think every Marvel film... Well, I like the Dark Knight trilogy. But every Marvel film seems to have the same checklist in terms of, general movements of the heroes and MacGuffins and villains and stuff.
Yeah.
And, for what they set out to do, they do it well, which is just, to turn your brain off fun films. And I think it's a mistake for DC to try to be all worthy about it all the fucking time.
That's, I think, one of DC's biggest problems is they've missed the fun factor of superheroes. I mean, it's okay to have dark. I think Batman, sort of fits that quite well, but...
Well, it depends who's writing him, I suppose. Batman was only really dark after the most recent Age of comic books, right? When Frank Miller started writing him and shit.
Yeah, and they realized they can make him all sort of sinister and badass. And not Dayglow and Camp, although, as the fantastic Batman the Brave and the Bold has proven, Dayglow and Camp can be lots of fun.
Well, I guess Batman was kind of dark, like pre-Silver Age. Like, he used to kill people in the very earliest Batman comics.
Well, even the people he doesn't kill, like, they were, like, I think it was one of the Batman Inks. A mutual friend of ours is obsessed with Batman, and Batman Inc., when he was, like, sort of setting up regional Batman, etc. around the world, he was in Japan, and there was a villain... I can't remember his name exactly. I want to say Deadman, but I don't think that's it. But basically, he can't die. And so Batman stuck him in a coffin and launched him into orbit. So he's just awake and in this box, just there.
That's
fucked up.
It's a bit wantonly cruel, isn't it?
Yeah, and this guy wasn't like sort of... I don't think he was trafficking in children, like...
Well, that's a strange sentence.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to push the box back to the right.
I don't think he was trafficking in children.
Well, no, but I mean, if, I could understand them doing a thing where Batman push the box.
We don't need it.
Okay,
the pipe's gonna come up. Last time we just weren't facing the right way.
Oh, alright, so you just spazzed it up.
Yes.
Okay.
So...
well, I mean, anyway. if it was like a child sex trafficker and Batman was like, you're too evil, I'm sending you into space, everyone would be like, oh, okay. But this was just like a run-of-the-mill criminal. It's just like, you're going to be awake in a box by yourself.
And he doesn't even do that to the Joker.
I know.
But Guardians of the Galaxy, yes, getting back to that. Yeah, it had its moments, and I think you could say that for all Marvel films. They got their moments. They're very style over substancy. I think Guardians has the problem with a lot of Marvel films that is it a bit too much in love with its own subject matter, and it does have a couple of issues with continuity. I found just because it's like putting the set pieces slightly higher on the priorities list.
Like?
Well, when they first arrive on what's-his-name's evil spaceship as it's coming towards the planet's surface, I'm going to get picked apart by every nerd in the universe saying this.
The Dark Aster.
Like they get off the ship, like the green chick and the two boys, and
Groot,
and the wrestler guy's done his whole thing about how we're all friends now, yum yum.
Batista was a standout in that movie.
Isn't it great that we're friends? And then the evil lady shows up and he shoots her with a rocket launcher. And then they all split up. And then somehow the green skin lady ends up in a room that she has to unlock for the other guys. And I didn't really register how she got in there in a position to be able to open the door for the others.
Well, I don't know, when they were doing the plan, they were blowing a hole specifically in an area of the ship to put them close to the door bit. I
think generally it was a little bit...
Like
people just had a tendency to be where they needed to be, and they didn't really explain how they got there.
I mean, again, like part of the plan was to blow a hole in the point of the ship that put them close to the bit that opens the door that the other guys needed to get to.
They hadn't done that yet, but
they did. They blew a hole in the ship, and they were. I mean, you could argue that's probably a bit of sloppy editing, but I don't think it's good to...
The three of them entered the ship that way, but then one of them gets into the room and needs to unlock it for the others, but the others are still outside.
And the others had a much longer walk, though. That's, they had to fight through, like, a whole other room with some dudes.
It wasn't clear.
I don't know. I prefer to skip over little details like that rather than hang on minutiae.
I'm also...
I think that affects pacing, and I think with an action film, you want to, like, kick along. I think that was one of the biggest, like, positives of the film for me.
I was also a little bit disappointed that it ended the way virtually every Japanese RPG does. With people combining the power of friendship to kill God.
Friendship. Ronan wasn't God, though. I mean, he did get pretty ultra-powerful.
Well, he was basically all-powerful at that point, while he had the gem or whatever.
Infinity!
Yeah, I'm sure that's a larger Marvel thing.
Yeah, it is.
I was reading somewhere that Guardians of the Galaxy is supposed to start Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Bit cocky, but never mind.
Oh, dude, they got movies planned to, like, 2020.
I will say, it was a fun film, had its laughs, had a really good use of music.
James Gunn's a great director. Like, he did,
I haven't seen Super.
Super's not bad, but, like, also a little bit bleak. Like, if you're expecting kind of James Gunn fun, that's...
I have heard it's bleak.
Yeah,
yes.
it is not like what I'd call sort of a fun...
Ow. Jeez,
fucking...
the timing on that's brutal.
Yeah, there's no time for dicking around on Hotel.
How do you know it says hotel? It could say hot springs.
Hot dicks.
It could say hot chamama.
He did The Specials, which is sort of a good film, and the kind of deconstruction of the superhero genre.
Go! Look at me, but, I'm the fucking A-team.
Slither was probably his best good example of a simple horror comedy.
He was with the Troma for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, actually, the head of Troma, I can't remember his name, but the guy who is the creator of Troma is in Guardians of the Galaxy in the prison scene as one of the guys screaming at them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cameos for our showbiz friends.
Cannot remember his name for the life of me.
Hey, one of us got the Marvel contract. Free ride for everyone now. Everyone aboard the fun train.
It's not free, man. Like, Disney has tight purse strings. It's insane how, like...
How dare people in the media have friends. Sorry, that was a bit topical.
You have to have done the top bit first.
Yes, I figured it out now.
Are you sure, Yachts?
Yes.
Gotta jump onto the O.
Boing. Oh.
Bzzzt.
That was almost perfect timing.
Almost
not. Is not good enough.
What time are we at?
We're good.
Okay. Well, what do you want me to talk about? Like more shit of the original topics, or go back?
I think it's questions time, actually. Whoa! Look at me.
Look at that. That was adventurous.
Indiana Jones all over again. Yeah, that'll do it. Yes, hit us with a question. Don't think about it.
A question. All right.
Just pick one at random.
Well, the one in the middle that is big. By Guy or Rye. Have you ever played a game where you hated the main character to such an extent that it made you dislike the game or lessened the experience for you?
Well, I'd say if you had...
you want to answer at the same time? Because I think we're probably going to have at least one significant same answer.
Really? Because one thing leapt immediately to mind for me.
God of War 3?
No.
Oh, well, that was the one that leapt first to mind for me.
Well, I think Kratos at that point I interpret more as a comedy character.
I don't know, like, he was just an obnoxious dick. Well, but I'm just like, why are you
Well, at least you weren't expected
like...
to think otherwise. And the one that leaps to my mind is Wet. Because the character is so hateful. The character is so hateful, and she's just seems to be totally unreasonable about everything. Because they're trying to go for a sort of Tarantino-esque action girl thing. But she just comes across as angry and more than a little dim.
I don't know, I didn't play Wet.
Well, I wouldn't recommend it. Even the developer wouldn't recommend it. I met one once.
Really? What'd they say?
They said, thanks for your review. We said, I mean, they didn't actually start the game. They were handed it as an unfinished project when their companies merged or something. When the publisher bought out the previous developer. And they weren't given much time to finish it, and they agreed that the product was kind of shit.
Well, there you go, people. Straight from the horse's mouth to Yahtzee's brain to his mouth to your brains. Wet sucks.
I think it's always a shame when people talk shit about developers when the publisher is usually the problem. Oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, isn't it a publisher that puts the sort of the heels to the fire and sort of forces them to...
I mean, so many times you have problems with publishers, like, just saying, no, you don't have any more time. Yeah, it's fixed, whatever, let's just release it. We want money, we want coke.
Need more coke. I don't know, for me, like, I haven't played Wet, so yeah, mine would be fucking Kratos in God of War 3 was just... God of War 1, I think, is probably one of the best games of that generation.
I don't know. I think Kratos, by the end of that series, was more sort of lovable than anything else. Oh,
really? By the end of God of War 3? Like, when he's just, like, killing random...
Well, he'd just done it so much, it sort of lost all its impact. So I was like, oh, you scamp.
No, because I think in the... Like, I can't remember the second one much, but I think in the first two, like, it was... He killed a lot, but it wasn't...
Whoops, I got a case of the tunneling brainworms. That doesn't mean we can't skip with joy. Na 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 na.
But yeah, I mean, there's a few moments in God of War 3 where he kills people he absolutely, positively doesn't have to kill.
Yeah, he kills people who are flat out offering him the things that the things that he kills them for.
And I'm just like it's.
But if, in fairness, he was doing that from God of War 1, like right from the intro, where he like rescues the ship captain and says, "Didn't come back for you, came back for your key." Grab, shove.
Is he?
Well, there was no real reason to be vindictive at that point. I mean, could have just like set him on his feet and let him go on his way.
Weren't they? Were the ship captains fucking with him though? I can't remember.
No, the ship captain was maybe like one of the few guys who wasn't fucking with Kratos at that point.
Maybe he just always was a jerk.
Well, yes. I mean, that was kind of the point. I mean, I think the series ran on too long because the point of the first game is that he's a jerk. It ended
as him as
but he's
God
sort
of
of
War in World War II.
He's supposed to attain a sort of not so much redemption, but a sense of closure for why he's such a twat.
Well, that's because God of War ends, and then it has that like question mark at the end where they realize it was going to make money. So
it's a little bit schizophrenic about it because it ends by saying, "From that day forth, Kratos would oversee warfare for the rest of the time." There's even like clips of like First World War battles. And then, at the end, it says Kratos will return. It's a bit of a mixed message, really.
And then the thing that they said at the first one doesn't happen.
Yes.
I still want to see him, like, team up with Christ or something.
I think he'd probably kill Jesus. I mean, it's kind of his thing now. If there's a god, it's going to be killed by Kratos.
He could keep killing Jesus, though, and Jesus just keeps reviving. Like, that'd be funny, like, just a little thing that happens, like, Jesus keeps showing up to go, now Kratos.
Like 3 days later every time. Oh, that was a sword blade.
I was watching you do that, and I'm like, my brain's like, you should tell him not to do that, and then it's just like, no, he'll yell at me for telling him something obvious.
I didn't realise it was a saw blade.
Okay, well, that's a switch.
Okay.
And, yeah, you need...
Oh, yeah. See that box?
Boxo! Boing!
Haha! More adventure time.
Hey, the maggot removers. Come here, boys.
Thanks, guys. You're my only friends. You will probably peck my eyeballs.
That is, yeah, those are the only... I think those are the only other things in this game that are nice to you. I don't think it's deliberate.
That probably wasn't where I was supposed to go.
I don't know, isn't it?
Nah, probably have to go back.
Oh, yeah. Alright.
Yes. Give us another question.
You're
thinking about it again. Stop it.
Alright. Here's one to prod the bear with. Whose culture would you most like to appropriate and why? By Corporal Jacob.
Oh, that's a weird question.
You wrote it down. I didn't make this list of questions, did I, Artsy?
Well, you just picked it. I put it down, you know.
I was looking through them, and then I picked the one that I was on when you yelled at me.
Well, why don't you answer it then? What culture would you appropriate?
All of them. I'm from Earth. Nobody owns culture. Nobody fucking owns it. There's no king of the black man who owns all the fucking black culture. It's ridiculous. It is a meaningless delineation.
I thought Obama was king of the blacks.
Only according to some Republican blogs. No, it's bullshit. No one owns culture. You are not appropriating culture. Like the only thing I'd say is even close to that is when ads strip culture of any of its inherent creativity and fill it with a commercial message.
I like to appropriate.
That I'd say is artificial use of culture. Anything else is completely fucking honest. It doesn't matter if it's like only superficial.
Bugger nuts.
You live on Earth. You are part of the human race. The humans have created a variety of cultures.
All right.
And it's a lovely buffet from which you can eat.
All of them. I would appropriate Scottish culture.
Which bits?
The kilts.
Ah, you like to sport kilts, would you?
Yes. I want everyone to see my knob.
That's... I don't think you understand how kilts work.
I don't think you understand how kilts work.
Do you want it, like, with a nice front split? A kilt that just stops at, like, where the gut is, and then it's just a window.
I just put on a kilt, and then I'd cross and recross my legs while sitting on a park bench.
Yahtzee nudes to leak on the internet. Nobody cares. Nobody looks.
Well, you never know. Some people might have fantasies. Probably.
Oh, no, I know. I know people have fantasies. I've seen all the Rule 34 shit about you.
Now asking themselves who I was going to the cinema with this week, and if they need to kill them.
A lady.
Shut up. Shut up, don't spoil the fantasy. Don't spoil their little fantasies.
You shouldn't fantasize about Yahtzee. That's fucking terrifying.
I'm terrible in bed.
Yes, I've heard.
I'm not sure I'm doing this right.
Yeah, I think you gotta wait for it to swing back up. Now you go! Adventure!
Yes!
Yeah!
I'm the best at adventure.
Fuck yeah. Oh, alright, physics. Okay,
Whey!
so what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. All of them.
Yeah, alright.
Well, I'm from Australia, that's kind of what we do here. Just absorb all of you. We're kind of like a less lumpy Borg.
I've always thought Australia doesn't really have cuisine, does it?
No.
There's no quintessential Australian food unless you count Vegemite or Lamingtons.
I count Vegemite because I think it fulfills a few categories of a good...
It's not really a meal, though. You couldn't go out for an Australian, could you?
No.
It'd just be a big pile of Vegemite
Well, that's the great thing, is there were like nearly 500 independent and quite different Aboriginal cultures living here at the time of Whitey arriving.
Oh, that's bad design, that is. I have to press a button while standing in front of that panel to make it work, and this is the first time I've had to, like, do something like that. Previously, I'd have to, like, just grab a lever.
Yeah.
I think it's bad design to suddenly have to press a button in front of a panel.
And it doesn't telegraph.
No, it doesn't.
What? Okay.
I think I need that box.
Yeah, I think it should be on the thing. Ah, there you go. And then... all the Anglo cultures are imported from other European nations.
Well, not really.
Well, yeah, there's no indigenous white guys.
Well,
actually, the Aboriginality is a really interesting thing.
I'd say Scandinavia. I'd say Scandinavia was... No,
I'm talking about in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is, like, I'm not talking about just Earth in general. Like,
okay.
And yeah, everything's kind of an import, and, getting to a nice little blend. Okay, what else? Yes, Yahtzee and Gabe, if you two were gay, do you think you'd be physically attracted to each other? Shane the Pain 13, and Yahtzee wrote that down and put it on the list of questions, so I'm going to let you field that first one.
Fuck no. Have you seen a picture of Gabriel? He looks like a frog that forgot how to sweat properly.
It's points for creativity. I've had better. I think the general consensus of the internet is I look like weirdly muscly Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, we've done that one.
Yeah, well, I was bringing it up. Lord, no, I think I mean, it's hard to pretend to be gay because my first thought is, well, I'd go feminine, and it's like, well, would I be a gay guy that likes feminine men, or would I be a gay guy that likes myself a bit of butch?
Do you think a gay guy likes feminine men is in denial or something?
No.
Or is that a very, very ignorant thing for me to say? And am I going to be ashamed of myself in the comments?
Probably. Well, no, I mean,
There we go, I'm solving puzzles all the long day. So if you were gay, would you make love to me?
No.
Fair enough. Oh, I see, I'm in the friend zone, am I?
No, I wouldn't even say friend. Oh, Lord, no. I mean, again, like, I'm thinking from my perspective, which is innately attracted to feminine shapes. So my first thought is, well, I'd go for a twink. But, like, that's me talking from a heterosexual point of view.
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
Make sure you're only looking at them from behind, and they could be anyone, really.
If life's taught me anything, is the tops of heads are all the same. Alright, so that was a stupid question, and Yahtzee was stupid for writing it down.
You were stupid.
I think we can all agree on that.
I'm just being complete. I just thought, just in case.
What's the most ordinary thing you can think of that would be an antagonist in a horror game by Lord Dapper?
A featureless black sphere.
A blackboard. Do you think open-world games have an inherent unavoidable problem with pacing and narrative? By Neo King Ghidorah.
We were talking about this earlier. That's a really fucking loaded question, that is.
Alright, well, I mean, I agree with the load.
Okay. Well, me too. I'm sort of... Oh, bugger. I got no legs no more. I got no legs, Dad.
Who wants some delicious kid mints? Yes.
Well, I think open world, yes, does have the traditional problem with the open world games is that they sort of exist in two worlds. One world where the story happens, and one world where nothing counts.
And the story, bonk.
Ow.
I knew it was coming too.
I wasn't sure it would actually kill me.
Okay, you gotta hit those fast. Yeah, and the funny thing is, especially when there's a real important plot development in a open world game, and they're like, oh, you've got to do this quickly, and then you can sort of dick around for like an indeterminate amount of time before you have to get over there. And then by the time you get to the story element, it's like nothing ever changed.
And conversely, if you just do the story missions one after the other, then you sort of... the game, often in a lot of games, I think in Sleeping Dogs in particular, in open world games, they sort of have an unspoken time lapse between missions that they don't really make clear how much time has passed. Sometimes... Like, if you did all the missions, you might think that such and such became the boss of the whole gang within the course of a single day.
What a rich week I've had. Yeah, I think, because that's one of the interesting things about narrative in video games is, more than, you can put a book down and pick it up later, but it's, you pick it up at exactly the same point. The events still occur at, that rate, whereas with a video game, it is materially based around how you choose to progress through it. And then, the open world ones particularly.
I mean, good game storytelling will make use of that. But I think open world storytelling sort of loses something when it becomes about... I'm not doing this right, am I?
That thing's probably not going to be nice to you.
When they get to...
I think it's going to drink your brain.
I think maybe if an open world game took a bit of a lighter touch with storytelling, it might do a better job. But when they do a bit too vigorous about events and like refusing to allow any interpretation, as we discussed earlier. I thought I was supposed to go them slowly or something.
Give it a shot, see what happens. That's always it's. I can't think of an open world game that hasn't been something that has sort of cropped into my head, like the pacing issue of it.
Well, I'm kind of stuck for ideas of what to do here.
We'll walk up to it slowly.
I was trying that.
Well, yeah, but you ran at the last second, which... So, okay, so go... Because, you're stuck down here. And there's no deadlock traps in this game. Like, you can... From wherever you are, you can solve the problem.
I know.
So then walk slowly toward it and don't sprint at the end. Patience. I think you got to grab its legs when it
I know, yes, I realised that, but that did not work.
You're impatient.
I'm not impatient. I was going really slow then.
Look, that's his little slow walk. Do it right.
Yes, that's what I was doing last time.
And now adventure. See, you have to. I think you have to kick it into a sprint for those last hairy seconds.
Well, you do it if you're so well.
Your favorite Team Fortress class is a Scout and Medic. What are your least favorite?
What? I think we should stop there.
Ah.
Because we're about done and we need to pick the next word. So on your right, you'll see I've prepared a copy of John Dies at the End by David Wong.
I haven't read it.
Well, perhaps you should. It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. That's riveting. Okay, say a word or whatever.
When.
Say.
When.
Oh, fuck.
What have you got?
Okay, it's hiss, but it's spelled HIIIISSSSSS.
Nice.
So,
give us the full sentence.
With my right, I jammed the lighter onto the lump in my shirt where I guessed the creature's head would be with a sharp hiss.
That's a pretty good indicative sentence for the whole book, actually.
Yeah.
So yes, you have to come for the word, a game that in some way exemplifies an extended hiss. Well, perhaps you could look to the comments for help. Oh, wait, you completely talk down comments.
I didn't talk them. I just said try this time. It's a fucking social experiment. Try this time to not make a comment. Okay? Because people bitch. Like, I've read the comments, people say, I know you probably don't read this. Then why'd you say it? don't write. Just out as a fucking experiment. Don't make a comment.
Okay.
And the best part is there'll be people who go like, "Oh, I've made a comment. I'm unique and interesting. You can't tell me what to do."
Get ready to prove him wrong. Have internet.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Legend of Success Yahtzee. I think maybe do you have to get off of it at some point, or is it just a cutscene?
Yeah, it's kind of automated at that point. You'll notice another use.
Bits off of insects.
Notice another use of insects in the game.
Poor bugger.
All right, well let's
You're a jerk.
let's end looking up into the sky, dreaming of paradise, a place where you can never be. Where you are here in Limbo.
Ah, I've got it. He's an unbaptized child.
The only thing you can do now is bend as far backwards as you can and try to get under a very low bar as jaunty music plays.
Your parents were atheists. This is what happens.
Everybody limbo! Da 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 da.
That joke just keeps getting better.
I don't know what limbo means.
Limbo means two things.
Good night, everybody. Joke. It's a recurring theme as part of the whole...
I mean, what do you think that theme relates to?
It's an evocation of the whole idea of being a small thing in a huge world that you can't understand.
Yeah, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Even the insects are bigger than you, and they constantly victimize you. It's a dog-eat-dog world.
People only say that when they're eating you. No one says that when it's just perfectly harmless.
This is cute, though. No, please don't eat me, Mistress Spider. Help, help, help. I'm hopping away.
Sperm crawling up the birth canal.
Hopping away with all my speed.
Boing. This reminds me of the...
Bollocks.
Oh, for God's sake.
I didn't think I'd hop that far.
This reminds me of the time I duct taped the neighbor kid up. He let us do it. We found these, 4 big rolls of duct tape my dad had bought, and we're like, hey, let's misuse this. So... I was like, we should make a mummy, and Stephen just went, all right, and then sat down, and he just let us wrap him up. And the last thing he said was, don't cover my eyes. So the last thing we did was covered his eyes. And then we just let him hop around the front yard for a bit before we pointed in the direction of his house. It was great.
You are a horrible friend.
He was a neighbor. Neighbor kids really aren't your friends, they're just there.
You get too much pleasure out of Schadenfreude.
Dude, shut up! It's mummifying another human being and watching them hop around. That's funny.
Yeah, don't... Oh, well, you convinced me now. Since you said it's funny, I've suddenly realised where the humour lies. Oh, dear.
You butt nut. You laugh at other people's fucking expense.
Well, only when they're being really dumb.
You don't think letting me wrap you up in duct tape is really dumb?
Well, he clearly said, don't put it over your eyes, so you were just being malicious at that point.
Yeah, that was a foolish thing to trust me on that one.
Well, now you're just blaming the victim. That's like saying she shouldn't have dressed like that if she didn't want it.
Well, the funny...
Saying you shouldn't have trusted me because I'm obviously a repellent human being.
Rape analogies. That's...
Yeah, I had a feeling that would be death.
Yes, everything's like rape, Yahtzee, you're right. That doesn't diminish the horror of that at all.
Should have seen the comments last week.
Wow, I don't look at the comments.
Well, there were some
the same every week. That's all the comments are always the same. Hey, here's a fun game, people. Don't comment this week. Just don't. I'm curious. I want to see how many of you can resist.
To this man. I need to populate the Q&A list.
How many of you can resist just commenting? Don't comment first because
what you have to do is you have to trick it into smashing the ground.
I think you're gonna die if you get too close to this thing.
Hello. I think that did it.
Yeah, the twang.
Oh no, one more. It's supposed to jar that man trap off that branch.
Man trap.
So did I say man trap? Perhaps I meant spider trap.
Dun dun dun.
I think this game kind of loses something after the whole spider sequence, because I think that's the highlight of the game for me.
It is rather good. But I mean, see, this is what I mean about being...
Come and get me.
Like someone not familiar with the problem-solving tropes of video games.
Come and get me again.
I think could play this game. I think it's got a really good sort of difficulty curve. I think it illustrates new sort of puzzle mechanics. Hold on to it, move forward, and then move back as it raises up.
Yeah, yeah. Ha ha ha! You dumb spider! I'm your king now.
Yeah, you stupid jerk.
Are you just gonna stay there? Do you want some more?
Hey, I know. Do exactly what you did before. I'm sure that won't end poorly.
Yeah, you want some more? Come and get me. I'm really juicy.
And it's got no HUD, like there's no
Whoops.
sort of
Oh,
lists.
that was close.
Yeah. There's no like big lists of complex controls. I think it has a really good example of how you build complexity out of just well-organized simplicity.
Well, I had to get my master race on to get it running in windowed.
Master race. How'd you do that then?
I had to
Explain it to the rest of the master race.
Had to edit the config. How about that?
Slow down, Neo. Okay, we aren't all hacksaws. I need you to explain that for the regular people.
Well, I had to find the file that was the config, and then I had to edit it. But
The world of the digital age has left me behind.
But I do think the whole Small Child and Scary World does speak to rather clear themes of a coming of age, and it's frequently a theme that appears in such games. No, this is the bad time, bad touch, bad touch.
Not friend. Don't want.
Keep a lookout for insects as a recurring theme in this game, by the way.
They are creepy.
That's me getting my game critic on.
Oh, come on, you can do better than that.
Well, it seems...
Look out for insects.
Well,
They're a theme of the game.
Oh, didn't see you there, viewers. I suppose you'll be wanting to drown out then. What a day I've had. I had to have my head cut off and put on a much smaller body.
This is waking up every day with depression.
Everybody limbo! Da, 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 da. I'm going this way, I don't give a shit.
We get to play a good game.
Well,
Take that, egg.
a very quiet good game.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the charm.
Boing, boing. Yes, my
Was
word.
this the progenitor of the big head, little body, childlike thing, or was
I
it
wouldn't say so.
No. Well, I mean, in games. I mean, it's not an uncommon trope just sort of existing throughout human
Yeah,
fiction.
but I don't think this was the first game that did it.
Oh, so, no, that's what I'm trying to
think,
think.
I would say Braid was the progenitor.
Also, Braid did come before this one.
The standard indie game archetype of small child, big head, exploring scary world with deep storytelling, maybe.
I gotta see, now they're all blurring together. Which one was Braid?
That's the time travel one.
Was that meant to be a kid? I thought that was a dude.
Well, he had a big head.
Yeah, but I think that was an adult. Like, this is a kid. Like, kids are supposed to have small bodies and big heads. There was a kid in my high school who, for the whole of like year 8 and 9, everyone called him Little Big Head because just the growth spurt just hit his skull first. It was fucking amazing.
So anyway, the word we picked last week was, you'll recall, indistinct. And I thought, what better than a silhouette game?
With some lovely sort of indistinct backgrounds that I think
and
give a good sense of character and space to the
a very indistinct death that I just had. And a very indistinct plot.
Which I think is quite good. I think, this is one of those ones we point out of building character and world with no dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Small Child and Big Scary World thing is overrated a bit. Seems to get automatic indie acclaim, but this isn't a bad game because of it. It's just a good game despite of it, I'd say.
Well, I mean, it's that problem again of everyone doing something doesn't make the good versions of it bad, and it's really easy to lose sight of that when people are rubbing like repetitive crap in your face. That sometimes these things, like the early modern, the first Modern Warfare game was good.
Faster. Faster.
Does that actually do anything?
You fucking boat. I don't know. I just assume it might because
This reminds me of a dream I've had.
Were you sailing with an owl and a pussycat and a beautiful pea green boat?
No.
Did you dine on mints and slices of quince?
No. I was not that nursery rhyme.
Okay. I remember this. You have to use the boat to jump up. This is mostly pulling stuff into a place so that you can jump onto a place.
Well, it's the old step platformer they're called, aren't they?
I wouldn't say it was a step platformer. Flashback is a step platformer.
Well, yeah, but this...
Prince of Persia is a step platformer.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, the steps became analog, but I still think, like... You know what I mean? I think the game is still within that.
I'm not sure I agree.
Alright, well, how would you define it then?
I'd just call it a platformer.
Well, do you not think that they have a very close kinship to step platformers with the pulling up and the pushing, the pulling, the objects, the way...
But every platform has that these days. Oh, I'm dead.
You fucking buttnut.
That happens. Sorry, the screen's a bit small on the TV because I had to run it windowed.
Excuses.
Oh yes, I remember this as well. Do you know there's an achievement for getting through this whole game with only 5 deaths? Ha 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 ha.
Is there an achievement for getting through not dying at all?
Possibly.
It'd be funny if there wasn't. Exactly 5 deaths. Or everything you accomplish is meaningless.
Less than 5 deaths, then.
It is a good game, though. I like this. I always, this is one of those ones where,
This was the XBLA, as I recall.
Yeah,
First release.
wasn't this when Ebert first wanted someone to show him a game that was art? This was the first thing I thought of, because I think it's
Really?
Well, I think it's simple, but it builds in difficulty. So I think anyone can pick this up and figure it out, even if you're old. And I think it has...
Well, that rather a patronising comment there, Gabriel.
Oh, you know what I mean, like Ebert old. Like, I don't understand these games and your rap music, like that kind of old. I'm not saying old as in, like, just pure numbers.
Right. Oh, there's a rock.
There's a thing.
Haha.
Na 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 na.
Foiled you. That's probably the wrong mindset.
Yahtzee belongs in a museum.
Well, Roger Ebert does.
Yeah.
Establish that.
His own.
Especially now.
I think it'd be cool to have my ashes displayed in a museum.
Well, they're not going to be that enticing to look at, are they?
No, but, you know, I mean, if you do something relevant enough, and it's
Boing.
like, here...
Boing.
Can it really... It's not... You're not really lying there if it's ashes. It's like, what is it? Here sits Gabe? How would you describe that if you're like ashes? Rests?
Here is an arrangement of Gabriel.
I really like that. An arrangement of Gabriel.
Yes, a rather haphazard one, it must be said.
A pile of Gabe.
Here is a quantity of Gabe.
Saying that next time I have sex.
It might be...
That's
might be the whole quantity, it might not be. You just don't know. Whee! See, this isn't a dark game, we're having fun.
Whimsy. Childlike wonder.
Wonder if you can go all the way around.
That, always the question. Did you ever try that as a kid? Like, going all the way around?
No. It's possible, though. I've seen a video.
Huh.
But you have to be, like, standing on it and using all your weight.
Was it a fixed...
Papa.
Was it a fixed, connection swing, or was it a chain swing?
I can't remember.
Because I don't think it's possible on a chain swing. I think a fixed connection, you have the leverage to swing yourself, but I think a chain swing, you just can't.
Okay, then.
Unless you have some kind of rockets.
But anyway, the whole big-headed child in a scary world thing I think is really popular in indie games because it speaks to a sort of the mindset of the person who doesn't want to grow up. It's the man boy's favourite game.
See, I wouldn't say that. I'd say the reason it's popular is because a few got great acclaim, and then people just, it becomes the format of, like how Oscar movie is itself a genre. Like, it just became the format of arty for, early gaming.
Possibly. But I still think
because again, I don't think Braid's a man-childy thing really at all.
Well,
I don't think
it
it's a child.
is if you go through it, because the plot of the game is he's rescuing a princess. I mean, the whole point of the game is that's
isn't that sort of like
is that he kind of by the end he's kind of exposed as someone who's placed an idealistic goal on something that's more complex.
Well, that's what I mean. I think there's a subversion of that. Like,
yeah,
but, I don't know. I wouldn't call it the man-child attraction so much as once something gets established as arty. That's where everyone just gravitates toward if they want to be arty.
Oh, hey, this is where the fun starts.
I'm Princess Spider.
You ain't a princess.
I'm a metaphor for spiders. Shut up! Alrighty, so what are you going to do about that?
I think